Hello, you lovely, lovely people. Hope you had a lovely Christmas. We didn't do anything. We was all sick over Christmas. My little boy, me, my wife, still getting over it now. But not a drop of beer went past my lips all over Christmas. But I'm going to make up for that on New Year's, if I'm feeling almost 100%. Anyway, the topic of conversation is, what the hell is going on? I just watched a few days ago the chief of staff in the UK telling us to prepare our sons and our daughters to be ready to sacrifice for war. What? And in the Netherlands, they've been, I've really been looking up on this recently, because we are going now from a post-war era to a pre-war era. You've only got to look at the news in Europe, and they're all talking about an imminent war with Russia, of course. And you mark my words, there will be conscriptions introduced very soon. You mark my words, it will, especially in the UK. I don't know about the rest of Europe, but I would imagine so. What is going on, people? What on earth makes the British government think that the citizens will fight for the country when the country's fighting against its own citizens? They're fighting against us. Meaning, with all the illegal immigrants, and most of them are illegal. They get rid of all their paperwork and documentation even before they come into the UK. And where I used to live when I was in the UK, a place called Hastings in East Sussex, there's a lovely place called Crowhurst. Lovely place. And there's a part of it, and it's very rural, very beautiful place, really. I think it's about 8 kilometres or something like that outside of Hastings. Beautiful place. And now what they're doing, they are converting an old military base for illegal immigrants. I think there's over 500 of them going to be put there in this lovely rural place. So you can imagine the local people, they're going ballistic. And apparently these illegals that are coming into the UK, they are just left to wander around, go anywhere they want. They come into the UK, they get a lovely warm cup of tea, a hot cup of tea or coffee or whatever they drink, clothing, good accommodation, and an allowance, while the British people, some of the British people, are homeless. The veterans who are on the streets in the UK. What makes the UK think that the UK is going to race around and want to fight for what it is now in England? I'm not there now, but I know what goes on. I've still got friends in England who tell me what goes on. I look at the news. I know a lot of the news is biased and all that, but you see enough to know what's going on. They try to prepare us for war. In the Netherlands, they recently said to to get supplies of rechargeable flashlights and battery powered radios. They saying that war is imminent in 2 or 3 years. But the way they're talking about it now, I think it's going to be before that. I think they actually wanting war. I think they actually wanting it. But what good is it going to be if we're going to be fighting Russia? And we've got nukes, they've got nukes. And when people say, well, the UK hasn't got very many nukes, and France haven't got many nukes. Well, how many do you need to destroy countries? You don't need 4,000 nukes to destroy countries. You don't need that many. It worries me, because I've got 2 adult sons in England, and if they do start this conscriptions, which I think they will, it worries me that my sons will be taken into that. All of these head leaders, they won't be sending their sons and their daughters into harm's way, but they want to send us, or our children, into harm's way and fight for a country, like I said, that doesn't give a shit about us, not a shit about us whatsoever. And all of the illegals who's in the country, would those fight for the country? Because the shitty government that we have back in the UK, who haven't got a clue how to control what's going on, will they, no, you stay in your lovely accommodation while, the citizens of England fight for this country, to keep you safe. It just beggars belief, people. It does. It beggars belief what's going on. What really got my back up was when I saw the Crowhurst, what they're going to do. And also people, they haven't done it yet, but there's a lot of places that's saying don't use the word Christmas tree. Don't use the word Christmas tree. Use holiday tree. What? Because it might offend people. And I've also seen and heard as well from people back in the UK who's told me that they wanting to get rid of people singing Christmas carols, choir singing, because it might offend people in our own country. It might offend people that's coming into our country who are not citizens. It might offend them. So don't, lay back on the, on the Christmas carols. And also in Brighton and Hove Museum, they are trying to decolonise Santa Claus because they said he's too white and he's too male. What the fuck? What is going on? When I was in the UK, before I left, and in 2026, I'll have been out of the UK for 9 years. It was nothing like it is now. I know 9 years is quite a long time, but for this amount of change in that time, what's it going to be like if there is still a UK, if there is still a world, the way that these chief of staffs from the UK, the chief of NATO is talking, everyone get ready for war, God almighty. I mean, how do you people feel? How do you people feel about all this? Look, England is a Christian country. I'm not religious, not at all, not any shape or form. But, I like Christmas time because I like to see people having a good time. And if these people are coming in to a Christian country, then they've got no right to say anything because they are being taken in by the government, by the British government, and they are even allowed to have this voice to say, you are offending us with your Christian ways. Dear God. What's happening? What's happening? Some people say the Philippines is dangerous. Not compared to in fact, not compared to European countries right now. Especially the UK. Not compared to the UK. You look at all of these illegal immigrants that's coming into the UK. They're coming in their droves. Now that the weather's got better in the UK, they're coming in droves, across the ocean. And the people are there, the government are meeting them there, welcoming them. They are welcoming them into the UK with a nice blanket, like I said, a nice warm cup of tea, accommodation, while its own citizens are on the street in the bloody cold weather. My grandfather, from my mother's side, my grandmother, she died when she was 99, and she died in 1999, funnily enough. So she saw 2 world wars. And the First World War, she was very young, but she was still working in an ammunition factory. The Second World War, she was working in an ammunition factory. My grandfather, who died during the war, from my mother's side, I never met him. What did these people fight for? Did they fight for what we have going on now in the UK or in Europe? Beggars belief, people, it really does. And I know I'm ranting on because I'm so upset about it. I'm so upset about how the UK is changing. It's changing at a fast rate of knots. That Sir Keir Starmer, Best Prime Minister England's had, eh? Fucking hell. What a joke. What a joke. And that Ed Miliband as well. What a total joke. The world's laughing at the UK. The world's laughing at... I don't like Donald Trump, but he's got better, ways of dealing with things than our government has in the UK. And like I said, I don't like Donald Trump as a person. I really don't. Some Americans love him, some hate him. But it needs somebody with a bit of backbone in the UK to stop what's happening. Because at the moment in the UK, we have a voice. We still have a voice. I remember seeing something, and it was... Because I used to watch... what's his name? Christopher Hitchens. I used to listen to his seminars quite a lot. And I still do, funnily enough. And he said it was about 15 years ago. Soon, the British people will not have a voice because of all of the illegals. And not just that, all of the people, I can't say it, all of the people who are coming into England, okay? Now, we are losing our voice now. The culture's gone. The British culture is gone. It's gone. Walk's taken over. And he said, this was 15 years ago, I think. I don't know how long he's been dead, but I think about 15 years ago. It might have been longer than that. And he said, while the British people have a voice, they've got to stop what's happening. Because there will come a time if you just sleep on this and let time go by and think, no, it'll be all right. You will soon find out that you haven't got a voice. And that's what's happening now. Because of the shitty government in the UK. Will he stand, or will Keir Starmer's government survive another 3 years? I don't know. He doesn't care. He just says what he wants. The British people are getting fed up, but he doesn't care. He just doesn't care, people. Anyway, the way things are going on, if they talking this seriously about wars imminent, what's the point of having like a rechargeable flashlight or a battery-powered radio? What if they go nuclear? That's what'll happen. It'll get worse until someone makes a mistake and fires a nuke off, and that's it. As soon as someone fires a nuke off, that's it. It's game over. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you've got 4,000 nukes or 10 nukes. It's enough to destroy the world over and over and over again. I just can't believe all these people, really. Not just about the war, but about all the trying to cut out our way of life in England. And people say it's dangerous in the Philippines. Nowhere near as much as what it is in the UK right now. Nowhere near. There might be scams here. It's not going to kill you. You might be scammed out of a few quid, but it's not going to kill you. And that's why they don't get many illegals here. Because the government don't help them. The UK welcomed these illegals with open arms, like I said, and they give them accommodation. I've said this, a nice warm cup of tea, a nice warm blanket and clean clothes and nice accommodation. Of course they're going to go there if the government's welcome. Come in by your droves. And like I said, now that the weather's got a bit nicer in the UK, they're coming over in the droves on these boats. You've got to stop them. It's got to be stopped. Ah, dear me. It's making me sweat even talking about it, people. It is, it's making me sweat. I'm so happy that I'm here, but I'm so sad to see my country go down the tubes like it is. And our ancestors, grandfathers, grandmothers, have fought for a country, for a free country, a free Europe, to be heading into where it is now. What do you think, people? Let me know in the comments. I'm not being over the top on this. You've just got to look on the internet yourself. You've just got to look. And all this woke crap is taken over. Santa Claus. No more Santa Claus. In Brighton and Hove, And Hastings isn't too far from Brighton and Hove. 30 miles away. Brighton and Hove Museum. Decolonise Santa Claus because he's too white and he's too male. What the fuck is going on? People, listen. Sorry if I'm ranting. But I just had to say it. It's not. This is off topic, you know, to what I normally talk about. But I think something like this has got to be spoke about. Thank you anyway for taking the time. Hope you have a lovely new year. I hope you do, and I hope we do here. And I can manage to put a little bit of alcohol past these lips into my stomach, because this Christmas has been murder for me. I haven't been able to have a drink or anything. Coughing, sneezing, headache, fever. My son, who's asleep right now, but he's getting better. My wife didn't really get it a lot, but I seem to cop it. Me and my boy seem to cop it. Take good care, people. Thank you so much for taking the time. God bless you all. Bye-bye.